You're listening to Flying Casual, a Star Wars podcast. Here's your host, Michael Canterbury.
Casual fam, welcome to episode 11. 11 that's crazy, right?
11
episodes.
We have been flying casually for 11 weeks.
11 weeks, that's insane. Still
Wild.
going, still growing. Half of it's probably been a Mandalorian discussion.
Yeah? Well,
That's crazy.
I mean, not half of it.
Yeah,
but
you're right. Half Mandalorian, half Rise of Skywalker.
Probably like a third of it has
A
been The
third of it.
Mandalorian.
Okay, and a third of it's Rise of Skywalker. What's the other third? Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
What's that place we went to for lunch?
Shenanigans.
Holly, how you doing?
I'm great. Chewie just pushed all the blankets off the
He's
couch.
pissed. He didn't like the introduction.
He
He's
hated
like,
it.
half of it's been Mandalorian, half of it's been Rise of Skywalker. He didn't like it. He pushed all the blankets
And then
off
he
of his
stared at
bed.
us like, what are you going to do now?
Now he's going to knock everything off the couch.
There
but
goes the roadcaster.
yeah, Mike, we didn't give him a mic. That's probably why he's pissed.
He has some thoughts about The Mandalorian.
Yeah, shut it all down, Chewie. Shut it all down. You're good. You're good.
Fly Casual's canceled.
That's right. Canceling it. Luke, how you doing, my friend?
Doing good. What's this you've been eating? You've been eating shenanigans?
It was a Super Troopers
That's right.
reference.
Oh yeah,
A Farva,
I don't think I've
where-
ever seen that one, which is like weird.
We've got a.
'Cause,
It's a classic.
Yeah, it's like the Marvel movies and Super Troopers, my blind spots.
I actually
That
just
would be-
think you're probably a more mature, cultured individual. I think that's probably what the difference is.
No,
which is
not
good.
likely, but I'll take
Just
it.
different tastes.
We're cultured here on Flying Casual. You know, at least a third of us.
Yeah, we're not cultured.
Yeah, 2/3 is just flying by the seat of our pants. You know, not haven't experienced much life.
Yeah.
Actually,
Fine.
probably a little too much life. But episode 11, I can't believe it. We've still going strong. Still interested in Star Wars. Hopefully, everyone listening is still interested in Flying Casual. And I think some good community growth, some good development there, and then the Facebook group. Wade's doing a great job being the gatekeeper of the Facebook group.
Thank you, Wade.
And that thing is just hot right now. That group is blowing up. I mean, there's new TV spots. We got Mandalorian episodes. It's a great time to be a Star Wars fan and just taking it all in. So we've got some things to talk about today. Obviously, Chapter 3 of The Mandalorian, The Sin, right?
Yep.
So we've got Chapter 3 to talk about. We're going to save Chapter 3 for the latter half of the show. Or maybe it'll be 2/3 of the show, the later 2/3.
Who even knows?
Who even knows? We might go 3 hours. I have no idea. Maybe we'll podcast till the sun comes up.
All-nighter.
You never know, because it was an interesting episode.
This is the week of giving, and so we are giving.
Amen.
We are just giving these
You know what?
episodes away.
We actually might podcast every day next week.
Who knows?
I mean, it could happen, and that's us giving.
There will be some traveling, so it might be flying casual on the go.
Flying casual on the go. It's a definite possibility. So pack your bags. We'll be on the road. But so I want to talk about a little housekeeping, because we don't really talk about what we're doing much, where Flying Casual's going. We kind of just sit down, we start breaking bread, which is fantastic. That's what I want this to be. But we'll do a little housekeeping. I'd like to get to your emails first. I'd like to give you guys some direction about what we're going to be doing here at the beginning of 2020, really. So first, I want to start. We had a bit of an announcement. I like to think, I created this really dramatic teaser. I'm going to put it up in par with the Rogue One teaser from Celebration Europe. I mean, right? I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. My motion skills have I don't know if they've risen. I'm getting really good at this stuff. Not really. It took me how long? 5 hours to create this thing.
I mean,
and
but
it was
have
16 seconds long.
Have you seen the thing?
It's amazing.
I mean, it looks like a trailer.
It looks like a trailer. Can
It's
I be
very
honest?
professionally done.
Thank you, Holly. I appreciate that. It took me a long time. Really
Michael
proud of that.
Canterbury will produce all of your
That's right.
cinematic
That's right. needs. A Fellow Man Productions coming at you hot. So if you saw the teaser, I know a lot of you know what trivia trials are. You got to experience a little bit of that in Rebel Watch, and we really just scratched the surface with trivia trials. I had a lot more plans, and I was really bummed. I didn't think we'd be able to do kind of that anymore, but it's time to bring the trivia trials back in 2020.
Bring them back.
Bring them back. We're gonna have just the good bread and butter, in-house production. Friends, locals. Chewy. He may be our best contestant.
I mean, he's really good at trivia.
The most knowledgeable.
He has a lot to say too.
He does. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with those. But in 2020, the plan really is to have you listeners participate in the trials, and it's a lot of fun. And some people are gonna take it really serious. There's a lot of sweaty trivia fans out there, especially when it comes to Star Wars. Our boy Luke here is the Episode 4 champion of the original trivia trials, so he knows what's up. He knows the stakes. He knows the sweaty questions. A couple softballs every now and then.
Yeah, we'll have to warm him up with some trivia.
We will. Well,
not this episode. Yeah. I'm not prepared for that. But
That's
Luke,
okay.
Get ready.
Yeah,
next episode,
we're gonna
I'm
get
throwing
him
some trivia at you.
We're gonna get him fine tuned because he may have a challenger in Ashley Neiman. We're gonna see because she's wanting to get on the trials, and that may our in-house boy here, Luke, may be up against Ashley. We'll see what happens there. But so I'm thinking that in 2020 we're gonna have this I'm gonna call it an intergalactic league, where listeners, participate in the trials, and we'll do it over Hangout, or do it over Skype, whatever we need to do, or I'll bring you in the studio. If you could make it down, I would gladly record trivia trials with you in the studio. But most likely it'll be, via Skype, and it'll be just as entertaining, just as sweaty, just as fun. So really looking forward to that. Expect more in the coming year, working out the details and all that good stuff, but expecting a nice return of the trivia trials. Looking forward to it.
Return of the trivia trials.
The return. I call it, there's only one return. Am I right, Luke, Holly? Am I right? There's only one return. I mean, no offense, guys. No offense to you Return of the King fans, but
I don't know. I'm a big fan of Return of the King.
Okay, so let me ask you both. Return of the King, Return of the Jedi.
Which is better?
Yeah. Let's hear from Luke first. Let's put Luke on the spot here.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Luke, what do you
Remember,
think?
Luke, we're on a Star Wars podcast
We're on a Star
now.
Wars podcast. I'm about to be kicked off of it.
And we can both see Return of the Jedi poster right behind Michael.
Yeah.
I mean, Carrie Fisher is staring us down.
Hold on. Is it over here?
No.
It's over there. Sorry, I'm backwards. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Tolkien is a special place in my heart.
Come on.
So I feel like the two can coexist. We don't have to be so confrontational here, man.
What if you can't coexist? What if we are in a
One's
divided
about a king
world?
and one's about a Jedi, dude. We don't need to go head to head with that.
I expected nothing different from Luke to be,
He's so
the
diplomatic.
voice of reason.
Yeah.
He's diplomatic. I totally get it. But let's just say you're on an island, Luke, and it's life and death.
You
It's
can only
divided.
bring one with you.
You can only bring one to the island with you. Your plane's going down. You got 2 Blu-rays. And I don't even I don't know if I can sweeten the pot on the extended version.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Is this only
what kind of plane are we flying here?
No.
It's a 747.
oceanic flight?
That's a trip. That's a lost trivia there.
Oh wait, wrong.
You're on the plane and there's lost trivia. What is it? Flight 11?
No.
Okay. Luke, do you happen to know that question?
I don't know that one.
Never
But
seen
if you're
Lost.
talking about, I don't know if the island's the best scenario here, because if you really need a lot of time to kill, Return of the King's going to take up a lot of time.
You're right.
But if you
need
but if you
food,
want to have some
water.
fun and maybe get some jungle survival tips, you got to go with Return of the Jedi.
Come on.
So
That's fair.
that might come in handy. Learn from the Ewoks how to make a house up on your tree,
or to fight,
that-
a sophisticated, technologically savvy enemy.
Sure.
Although Caravan of Courage might be more helpful in terms of surviving.
Ooh, that's true. No, that's actually No,
And
I
just
look at
eating
that as
axes, so
You're right.
Probably Caravan of Courage. Yep, it's definitely going to be Caravan of Courage
so
in the end.
he's pulling an audible. He's not even saying there's a return here. It's just the caravan of courage is what's necessary.
Yeah, I just broke your question.
Shattered.
The survival guide of Luke Elder.
Wait, are we in
Caravan of Courage.
hyperspace right now?
That's actually a great question. We're not. I didn't prep the hyperdrive. The hyperdrive's actually out right now. Let's just say that. So I plan to have the hyperdrive fixed by next week, meaning I'm not prepared for hyperspace inquiries, and Holly isn't either. But I don't know. You're kind of a question generator. Yeah.
Can I answer the question?
The original question, it wasn't the lost trivia question, was it? So you're back on the return. Is it the return of the king or the Jedi?
My question that I had for you was when you say, do you want Return of the Jedi or Return of the King?
Yeah.
Are we talking like both are the movies, or like we can do Return of the King as the book? If I'm on an island, I'm bringing that book with me. My Blu-ray disc player is gonna die. I need the
you're
book.
Complicating. You can't have it both. You're right. You can't.
I'm complicating.
Everyone can't be as diplomatic as Luke.
Luke brought in Caravan of Courage, and I can't bring a book.
I know you're not that diplomatic. You're from Maine, so I'm telling you, you got a Blu-ray to your left. You got a Blu-ray to your right. Let's pretend books haven't even been invented, but film has, and flight travel has.
What kind of backwards?
We're in a weird world.
Okay.
Weirder things have happened in our government. So let's just, that's a non-political podcast. Which is it? The Jedi or the King?
God.
We're talking film.
I really want to say I'm so sorry.
Don't even say Hogwarts.
No.
Return of the
Hogwarts isn't-
Hogwarts.
Return of the Chosen
Well,
One.
if I'm being fair here, the most what they're doing now with the what's the new Harry Potter
Fantastic Beasts.
they are going back to Hogwarts. So
Are
this
they?
next movie, could very well be the return of Hogwarts.
Is Johnny Depp going to be in that?
I think so.
Wait a second. This is a Star Wars podcast.
Can I just say that those new movies are garbage?
Yeah.
They're not great.
I liked the first one.
Did you?
The second one, not so much.
The second one was terrible.
Oh, yeah, boring.
Luke, did you see it?
I haven't seen either of those.
That's okay.
That's fine.
We're gonna we actually might have a segment, that's kind of a Patreon exclusive or something, to where Luke watches these films.
Wait.
We get like a 10
Or you
year
just
later
give me
update.
a list of movies and I tell you that I haven't seen every one of them. Have you seen this? Nope.
I'm gonna make him watch
Yes.
every Marvel Cinematic Universe film and give a review on it.
No,
Yeah.
here's what we're going to do. Instead of watching the whole movie, Luke has to watch the trailer, and then he has to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 if he would see the movie or not.
That's not a bad idea. Or we haven't watched the trailer and he gives a synopsis of what the movie's about.
Oh, my gosh.
And we're like, no,
Yeah.
Thanos is not the hero in the MCU. That would be fun. That'd be a lot of fun.
Can we have him watch the trailers but put different music behind it so he really has no idea what the context
That's
is?
actually a great idea. We'll mute it, and then you got, I don't know, the Avengers showing up, but it's like
horror
really
horror music. Oh,
I was thinking
okay,
classical.
okay,
That
we're
might kind of
going-
be cool, but horror. I
Have
don't
you
know.
seen that trailer? Have you seen that trailer
Yeah.
that's Mrs. Doubtfire, but they make it like a horror movie?
I haven't. Let's
Oh,
watch it.
it's
I
very
have
funny.
not seen that. I'm actually a little afraid about some copyright infringement with that regurgitation of the was that the Halloween?
Yeah, but I don't know
theme?
if anyone could actually tell what.
Yeah, my
think
pitch
you're
is a
safe.
little off.
Yeah,
I'm a little
and
pitchy.
so we
right
know
now.
from Fiverr that that's fine.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, they can fix
If
that.
the pitch is different.
If you pay them enough, they can fix it, right?
So are you gonna beatbox the next intro?
That's gonna also be a Patreon exclusive.
And it will be auto tuned.
Absolutely. This is what I'm talking about. This is the house.
Oh, this is.
Go ahead.
Do we want to get back on track to the housekeeping?
I do, but this is what housekeeping is about. Sometimes you got to get this stuff out. You know what I'm saying? Because I asked you guys a very simple question, and I know both of you were hesitating
wasn't
because you
simple.
want to say Return of the King.
Yes, I want to say
Return of the
Return of the
Jedi is
King.
one of the greatest movies of all time.
Oh my god.
Okay. I've said it. I haven't, I've seen maybe Return of the King a couple of times. It was all right. Battle was a little long.
You want the extended edition, and you're saying that the battle was a little long.
I don't have a spare $90, so if someone wants to loan me the copy, Luke has it, I think. We might have to watch that.
Got
but I
the
haven't
old
seen it.
DVDs.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The old laser disc. You got the old big laser disc. I think it came out around that time, right? No, that's a joke, Holly. You're too young to remember those things.
What?
Anyway, so back to our housekeeping goodness. So we talked about the trivia trials, but I've also started creating a Patreon page. Now, if you know me, I am really not one to beg for funding or anything like that, but I think, there's a lot of people out there that have a real appreciation for content creators, and they just want to show you that they appreciate their time, and we would appreciate that as well. We got a lot of equipment here. Luke's really expensive. That boy's charging like $80 an hour, so every podcast is very expensive.
We get that bill weekly.
That's right. He just leaves it on my desk. If you want to keep me, guys, I'm expensive because I know he's being sought out by other podcasters.
Phrasing.
He's expensive. That's pretty good. So, but I know a lot of you guys, you look forward to that extra content. You look forward to just offering, just your appreciation and a monetary donation to what it is that you enjoy. So we're going to put it out there. If it works, that's fantastic. If it doesn't, that's okay. But we're going to put exclusive stuff on there. Definitely some commentaries. I know Holly's got a lot to say on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I know Luke does as well. And there's a lot of Star Wars material out there now to discuss. So especially the Mandalorian. So Holly's got to rewatch Clone Wars. She's got to rewatch Rebels. There's so much to talk about.
Guys, sorry. I actually haven't even seen all of Clone Wars, only an episode a season.
That's okay. Rebels you've seen quite a bit of, so we're getting through
Rebels.
I'm
really enjoying Rebels.
Absolutely.
Actually,
I knew you would.
I am a child, I guess, but Rebels is great.
It's fantastic. Luke and I both thoroughly enjoyed it, and going back and watching it, you just get more of an appreciation for the story, because when you're watching those things live, like week to week, sometimes with Rebels, I would remember myself being like, that was, we would call them throwaway episodes. Luke, you remember those times where you're just like, it's kind of like Resistance, like going on right now. You're like, that episode wasn't that great.
Be careful,
He's gonna come spoil the next episode of Resistance. That's what he's about to do.
Spoiler alert.
So you remember those times when you're watching things live? I just felt like I wasn't as appreciative as I am going back and rewatching. And maybe it's because you get 3 hours of content there, and it all seems to kind of blend together. But so going back and rewatching that stuff, I think is going to be great, and offering a little bit of discussion on that, and also some book reviews. Holly and Luke read books in like a week.
I was going to read Resistance Reborn this weekend.
So was Luke. That's a joke. That's a joke. Oh, that's not the... Oh, all of them. Oh, all the sound effects just went off. That was... Oh, God.
Malfunctioning.
Oh, no. I can't mute it. Whew, that was overwhelming me.
I'm scared.
I was just going for the joke one. But... that's the same one. I am terrible at the sound clips. Wow, phrasing. But Luke, you were also going to read Resistance Reborn, am I right?
I had a bit of a spousal snafu with the old book.
Yeah.
I had Resistance Reborn reserved from the library, and I usually at the library they usually post the books a little bit before they actually come out, so you can get on the list and be on the hold list early.
Yeah. And
I get on the hold list early, so I'm one of the first ones to get the books.
Yes.
And then I had finished reading a different book and told my wife, by the way, if you're going by the library, you can take that back. She mixed up the books.
Yeah.
I get home, old book that's been finished is still here.
Ooh.
Resistance Reborn, nowhere to be found.
Gut just dropped. Because I just picture you saying, "Hey, honey, can you take that book back?" She's like, "Yeah, whatever, nerd," and just grabs the closest one to the door. And that's tough because you were about.
I did make the mistake of leaving it close to the door. That's a good point.
Hide the book.
Next time, just specifically say what the title of the item is.
Yeah, but if you're in a rush and you
see
it's from the library, you're grabbing it.
No, so I've grabbed the audiobook since I would have to wait. Now I'm back at the back of the line at the library, so I don't usually go for the audiobooks, but I'm going to do it so I don't have to wait.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, because we got a month, less than 30 days, I think, at this point now. So I'm about 77 pages through Resistance Reborn. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to lend my copy to Holly, and that may be the week of The Rise of Skywalker. So you're going to have to really push that out.
That's fine.
Phrasing. So a lot of good stuff. I mean, there's so much to talk about. We can't fit it into an hour we're in 20 minutes on a really good day. So there's so much to talk about, and I think that exclusive stuff, just really sitting it down and throwing it on the Patreon, people would look forward to that stuff. So we're gonna give that a shot, and I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun. So continuing our housekeeping, we got an email.
You want to do the email first?
I want to do the email because. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I had a couple other housekeeping things that I was going to throw before the email.
Please.
Okay. I have a couple things
Come on.
that I wanted to share with everybody. If you listen to us on the podcast app,
yes,
we've gotten
the Apple Podcast.
The
app.
Apple Pod.
Yeah.
Yes. Let me be more specific.
Yeah. Let me. If you out there on the internet and you hear us there talking about the Star Wars, go ahead and give it a rating.
Okay. Yes. And we got a couple cool comments and reviews that I wanted to share with everybody.
Absolutely.
The first one was from Scotty.
Yes.
And he gave us 5 stars, and he said, a great podcast for exploring and speculating in the galaxy far, far away.
Yes.
The Flying Casual crew travels to the corners of the trade routes to involve the community in the discussion and go in depth on theories from the community point of view.
I love it.
Which I think is something that we keep saying, like, we really like to get the feedback from you guys and include your theories and your thoughts, and we really take any of that feedback that you give us really seriously.
We wouldn't be podcasting if it weren't for those guys, if it weren't for that community that's been created and stuck with it. So that's why we keep doing it. That's the only reason we even started doing it. So thank you, Scotty.
Yes, thank you, Scotty.
Freaking awesome.
The other one that I wanted to share was from our good friend Lauren.
Yes.
And she said, a brilliant podcast for Star Wars fans.
And you know what? I couldn't have paid her any more money to say something nicer, you know what I'm saying? But no, she's amazing. I want to go ahead and say she's a huge Star Wars fan, but she's a Star Wars fan. She's not deep and sweaty like we are, but she appreciates what we're doing. And hopefully you're getting a few laughs. That's what I'm hearing some people, you know, it sounds like you guys are having a good time, and I don't really know what you're talking about when you say McClunky, but you know what? You make me laugh. So we appreciate those comments and that feedback. So thank you, Lauren. That's freaking awesome. And you guys, you also can go and leave a review if you totally would. It means a lot, and it helps get the podcast out there for others to hear. The more rates, the more reviews you get, the more likely others are to participate as well and to find Flying Casual and join that casual fam. So if you want to go on the Apple Podcast app there and leave a review, that would be amazing. You know, whatever your feedback is, we'll definitely take it. I've also realized in the podcast feed on Podbean that Spotify's killing it. Spotify, we got a lot of listeners on Spotify. I haven't been on Spotify in a while, but I actually kind of miss it. I actually kind of miss the app and its functionality a little more. Apple Music kind of let me down, so maybe I may have to jump ship and go back to Spotify. But a lot of listeners on Spotify, so I want to thank everyone, whatever platform it is that you're listening. If you can review on Spotify, I have no idea if you can. It's been too long, so we'll figure that out. Leave a review wherever you can. We'll take the feedback. So that's awesome. Any other housekeeping before you get to the email?
I just really wanted to share those two.
No, I think that's fantastic. So what else we got? We got an email. Can I preface the email? So if you guys recall the live stream after the Mandalorian episode, there was mention of, Holly's past when she lived in Maine, and the person that she was and no longer is. No, it's all joking aside. Holly is from Maine, but she is
that
not.
That wasn't the joke.
That isn't the joke, but I don't think that's funny anyway. I love. I don't know if we have any Maine listeners, but I love each and every one of you. But we made a joke about French Canadians, and because it's a stereotype of the Maine and the French, but I've heard it. Not from you, but from others. As in Gettysburg, I've sitting near a whole table full of Maine gentlemen, and boy, it was intense. So there's a stereotype, and then there's some beef there, and whatever.
It's not real beef.
It's not real beef, especially not on our part. So that was a total joke about Holly's past and the French Canadians.
For the record, love the French, love the French Canadians, love the French Acadians.
Vive la France, vive la liberté.
Oui.
But that was a pretty solid accent. I think people may be mistaking this for a French podcast. But we got an email. It was funny because we joked about your French Canadian background, and we get an email from Ben.
Yes.
Would you mind sharing that with everyone?
I would not.
Okay.
Okay. He said, "Hello there," or as.
Hello there.
Thank
No,
you.
that was
Nope.
Australian. That wasn't.
That was
my British is all off right now. So yeah, go proceed.
Okay.
Yeah.
He said, "First, please excuse my English. It's not my mother tongue." Well, your English is perfect.
It is perfect.
Much better than my French. He said, "So I was about to write you last time you were mentioning your French viewers." Yes, we were.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that, but I don't think it's coincidence.
But can I stomp you right there? Because when I'm reading this, I'm like, oh God, what have we done? Like, it was a total joke, and people were taking it seriously, and now we're screwed.
Yeah, because I had said on that podcast, I was like, well, there goes every single French listener. They unsubscribed.
Yeah.
And then Michael texted me and was like, so we got an email from someone from France.
I'll
and I
forward
was like,
it to
oh,
you. Yep.
God. Anyway.
Let Holly go on her apology tour.
I know. I was like writing it down. Now is the right time to submit my theory about a character that you call Green Bean.
Yeah.
You missed an important detail. Clearly, he's French. He's one of us.
He's one of us.
Look at the attached screen capture and tell me he's not French, which, by the way, was a screen capture of Green Bean swallowing a frog with the little legs hanging out of his mouth.
Absolutely.
Hilarious. I mean, who else in the universe would do that? That's pure French tradition.
Yeah.
This shocking truth raises a few questions. Will he refuse to fight an invasion or maybe a war for hyperfuel? Will he steal the Mandalorian's wife in season 2?
Come on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it's time to call him Haricot Vert.
Haricot Vert. We gotta work on that French
I
accent.
don't have a French accent.
Your pronunciation is off.
Then he said, Holly, I'm sorry if you read that. Mike, glad you launched another podcast. Que la force soit avec vous.
I think you nailed that pronunciation.
Nailed it.
You nailed it. Ben, that is a fantastic email. You don't know how much that made my day when I read it.
Yeah.
I was so thrilled, but like I said at the beginning, I was like, oh no, like I hate that someone took that personally, and then he was throwing other stereotypes out there and making reference to American invasion.
Funniest emails I've ever read.
It was so good. It was so
amazing.
Good. So that was fantastic, and I want more communications like that. That was perfect. So if we're gonna call him Green Bean, we're gonna call him Haricot Vert.
I'm sorry. So that's what that translates
Haricot Vert. Yeah, I think. Ben, let me know if that I nailed it or if I nailed it.
Nailed it.
Because I got it. Yeah, I that's 4 years of French at its finest in high school and college. So.
But. So now for you guys, will he refuse to fight an invasion or maybe a war for hyperfuel?
I don't think he can refuse.
No, no is not.
He doesn't have a whole lot of say in what's going on. Luke, am I wrong?
I don't know about his policy towards wars for fuel, but I do like his frog eating policy. I'd love to try frog legs.
Oh, yeah.
I've been meaning to give those a shot. I have had snails, escargot.
Escargot, yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I had them in like a tomato sauce. Yeah, it was all right. But no, I don't think I've ever had frog legs. So, any recommendations on methods of cooking them, send those our way as well.
That's right. And I'll tell you right now, Luke, we can get this done
recipe.
tomorrow. I can take you to the nearest, Chinese buffet.
This is French.
9 times out of 10, though, you're going to find frog legs there. I'm not kidding.
Think that's true.
Not kidding.
I don't believe that.
Well, you haven't frequented many Chinese buffets.
Luke, I have a follow-up question.
Ooh.
When
it
you
feels like hyperspace inquiries.
Well, yeah. When you ate the escargot, are they alive or not?
Not for long.
No, they were previously incapacitated.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Were they in the shell?
No, these were not in the shell. I think sometimes they're served in the shell, and you got to pry them out
Even
of there.
In the
like
sauce.
an oyster.
Yeah, they'll put the whole thing in there. Yeah. That's messed up.
I don't think I could do it.
Yeah,
We're gonna do like hyperspace tastings.
That's
next.
actually not a bad idea. So if you guys want to see Holly eating escargot, you're gonna have to. I'm actually gonna put a poll in the Facebook group right now. I mean, I'm not right now because I can't multitask. But after this airs, we're gonna maybe we wait till everyone watches the episode. Wait, are you crying right now?
No,
I think you're
but
freaking out.
Just out of context, I think you should post a poll before the episode airs.
Okay, well, so that's what you were just agreeing with. I'm like,
Then people will say
she's
no.
like, no. I'm like, oh my god, she's freaking out.
Wait, I have another question.
We won't have to kill them. We'll make sure that they're already dead. If that's your
I'm a
concern.
vegetarian, so I think that maybe that's not a vegetarian meal.
Luke, I got to come to you. Is it considered vegetarian? Is it meatless?
That's she's gonna have to consult her priest on that one. I think. I don't know.
Luke just told me to go to church for all these problems I'm having.
Oh boy,
Okay.
That's a great question. I don't know. We'll have to maybe Google it later, but I'm still gonna post it in the Facebook group. So you guys, if you're listening now and the poll's up, go take a vote because if that happens, we will absolutely record it. You might see projectile vomiting live, and that's the thing. We'll do it live on Facebook. This is can't be edited later. It's live. You spewing.
Do I have a say in this?
No, this is for the listeners. When it comes to the community, you don't have a say. I'm sorry. You just don't. The people want it. You got to do it. I could hear you swallowing through the headset.
Okay, moving on. Question number 2.
Yes.
Will Green Bean steal the Mandalorian's wife?
Well, if he has one, yes. But can I say he has stolen the hearts of everyone?
Yeah.
I'm going to say in the world because I think the Mandalorian has been spoiled already for a lot of people that don't have Disney Plus, which I feel bad for, right? I mean, can we all agree? Like, it's terrible that they have to wait for Disney Plus.
So Disney Plus isn't available everywhere?
Oh, no. It hasn't released in Europe or anything.
Well, it has to have released in France.
I don't think it has.
Black market.
Unless Ben is somehow, and you know what? He may not be in France right now. You know what I'm saying? He could be here in the States.
He could be in Canada. He could be in Maine.
He could be in. That would be so ironic and perfect if he were in Maine right now. He's like, guys, I'm just actually in Portland right now.
It would be like further north, like Presque Isle or something.
Oh, I'm sorry. My main
They
geography
don't speak
is
French
totally
in
off.
Portland.
Who knows? I don't know. I've never been. But maybe we'll have to do a live podcast from Edgecombe. What'd you think?
Yeah, Edgecombe.
Edgecombe, I nailed it.
Yeah.
So I think he's stolen the hearts of everyone. I mean, I know those people that have had, the Mandalorian spoiled are also probably like, wait, what do you do? Oh,
I know.
But he's so cute. I mean, that's everyone thinks he's adorable. I have people that don't know Star Wars and they're like, oh my God, did you see Baby Yoda? And I'm like, first of all, I love that you're calling it Baby Yoda because so is everyone else, even those that have seen Star Wars. But it's just, I don't know. Luke, are you seeing that Green Bean himself is mending the Star Wars community? Are you seeing that too?
It could very well be the power of the haricot vert.
He's our only hope at this point.
He's our only hope.
Even those last Jedi bashers you got to get behind Green Bean, Baby Yoda, whatever. That's actually a contentious discussion with Baby Yoda. There's some people don't cross him on that. If you call him Baby Yoda, they're gonna flip out on you.
Well, because it's not.
Well, Yoda
What
died in
else?
Return of the Jedi.
What else can we call him?
Exactly.
We have no other reference for what Yoda is.
And I remember, like, right when we did the live reaction, we were calling him Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we hadn't heard that from anyone else. It was just natural because we don't know a whole lot about him. So I apologize if you're offended by that, but there's nothing other than calling him the child right now.
Good old Baby Yodes.
Good old Baby Yodes, or Yeetle, whatever you want to call him.
That's what people on Tumblr are called. I don't know.
That's a terrible name. But any other housewarming before we really
Housewarming.
get into housewarming? Jesus, we already had that like 10 episodes ago. Housewarming, housekeeping, anything else?
I think that was all I had. Luke, do you have anything?
Any announcements, Luke?
House is in order on this end.
You're here.
Amen. So I'll go ahead and say that I am the only one that voted for Return of the Jedi. So remember that, folks, in your comments. Remember that in your hearts. Caught myself. Chapter 3 of The Mandalorian, The Sin. Started out, with the Mando leaving with the baby. right? And you're like, oh my God, he's going to save him. He's going to take him to like, I don't know, like his bungalow, and he's going to just swaddle him, and he's going to.
I think that was like literally verbatim what I said out loud during the episode.
Well, I was reading your mind. I didn't even hear you say it. So I think we all kind of thought that maybe he was just going to go off with this thing. And Luke, were you surprised that he actually took this thing in for the bounty?
I think it had to go this way to kind of build the tension in the show. But I have to point out the part I connected with most in the entire episode was in the opening bit in the cockpit with Baby Yoda. And he goes up there and he takes the little ball off the lever. Yeah. And I think a lot of dads of toddlers will relate here. But
absolutely,
I connected so much with the Mandalorian's response to that was, this is not a toy. How many times I say that in a day, a week?
Yeah.
No, that's not a toy. That's dangerous. Don't touch it. Or that's fragile.
Yeah.
That's not a toy. So I think that was like a shout out to toddler dads or former dads of toddlers. A phrase that haunts us.
Right. And it was genius in so many ways, but I mean, obviously to show just by saying that he seems to care for this thing already. But I mean, we call back onto it then at the end of the episode as a really, or is it at the end of the episode? Yeah. And well, they do it twice, because when he delivers the thing, right. He delivers it and he sees that it's missing. And
he gets mad.
That's what
flips the switch.
That flips that switch. That's right. So he does. Let's go back. He delivers the baby to the Imperial remnant, and I mean, I think everyone's hearts were shattering.
Oh yeah.
When Baby Yoda is taken into the back room to the
are
examination
you
room.
kidding me?
I mean, it was as an infant, we're crying out, and he's just looking at him with his huge black eyes. I mean, just tore us to shreds. And so the Mandalorian even inquires, what are you going to do with him? And they're just like, that's not part of the deal. So he leaves, goes back to the ship. He looks at that lever again with the ball missing. And that's like Luke said, that's the switch that just flipped, and he goes back, and he's hell bent on getting into that hideout and getting that baby out of there. He blows, a hole in the wall. He's knocking out stormtroopers. Holly, I mean, that hand-to-hand combat was, I don't think we've really seen anything like that in Star Wars, right? I mean, we've seen blasters, we've seen clones, we've seen, stormtroopers engaging, but this is some legit hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
Made for television. I mean, it was great, right?
I loved it, but I mean, I think that it just like kind of goes with like the theme of the show more so than like if you just stood at a distance and shot a blaster. Like you have to have that up close in person fighting. Yeah. Also, I mean, it was like a sensitive subject. He was going back to get our little baby, and that's like very personal. And then I also love that like you're still seeing his flaws. He didn't go in there just two blasters, just blasted. I mean, he had to improvise. He was using, he melted a stormtrooper with the flamethrower, which was disgusting. But he was using all of his gadgets. It wasn't just him going in there and owning it. I mean, he ultimately did, but you're still seeing his flaws there, and that he still has, a lot to learn. But ultimately, he gets through and gets to the back room. And there's the baby just kind of incapacitated for an exam. And Luke, we see the doctor there, right? And he's just like, don't hurt him. He doesn't even recognize the Mando, right? Because of his new armor.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if he realizes it's the same guy. I would think he does know, because they just handed over the best guard to him and everything, and he had made the delivery. So
that's true.
But yeah, that dude is just, clearly not a combative character. So he just is trying to preserve his own life at that point. So whether he's thinking clearly about who this is or what's going on, who knows? I don't know if you want to like go in order or kind of jump back to some of the earlier stuff. Because we skipped over a lot of like juicy bits in the middle there.
You're absolutely right. Because when we talked about the Beskar, is that what you're thinking? He goes to the hideout.
Yeah, where he goes back to the hideout, and you get a lot more of the kind of backstory of that group.
Yes.
And the tension. There.
Yeah, we get the extended callback, the vision of the past of him being put into hiding. It was a purge. We saw separatist. What are those droids, Luke? I forget what they're called.
Those are just called, I think, super battle droids is what I've heard.
That were separatists, right? I mean, these were part of the separatist movement coming in the purge. So we hear Mandalorians talking about the purge. My mind automatically went to the Empire, but maybe it was a combination. Maybe there was something going on there. But those droids were separatist droids, kind of going house to house and just kind of slaughtering people. It was insane to see that, especially when we've really only seen them in episode 2 and 3.
Yeah, 2 and 3.
And some Clone Wars action, but to see it, see those interacting with like people was just, that was crazy. So Luke, talk about that moment a little bit, and what really struck you about being in the armory there in that flashback.
Well, yeah, there's so much kind of to dig into that I really didn't get much of it until kind of the second go through the episode.
Yeah,
I still think he's more of like a foundling type, this Mando guy. So when you're saying, oh wow, it's the Separatists and the Purge, I'm not sure that flashback is the Purge. I think the character, the other Mandalorian that he gets in the fight with, mentions that it was the Empire who committed the Purge.
Exactly. Yep.
So I don't think that the droids are part of the Purge. Just makes me think our Mandalorian is one of the foundlings who didn't really come from Mandalore.
Good call.
And maybe didn't experience the Purge firsthand, but the guy who starts beefing with him maybe did experience the Purge firsthand, which why he's more emotional about it or more upset about it. When he sees the Imperial seal on the Beskar plates, really sets him off.
Absolutely right. And that would make sense then too, if the Separatists went in there and were, owning this world, and then the Empire, they all get shut down, right? I mean, all the droids, but the Empire comes in and probably wipes out the rest of whatever's remaining there. So that's a great call. Great call.
And this whole talk of what his signet's going to be, I think, is going to keep coming back. Because when he went to the armorer, she's like, oh, you took out a mud horn. Well, right, that's your signet. And he's like, oh, wait a second. It was not an honorable kill, I think he says.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that response from
what,
him.
What would it mean to you?
I don't know. I just think that, like, I think this is maybe, I don't know, just to me, this is, like, maybe another reason why he did more of that, like, hand-to-hand combat. I feel like he's into, like, a fair fight and, like, playing a fair game, which I think historically in Star Wars, like, not everybody has.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just like that.
Well, and he's being honest too about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could have very well said,
I totally took it out.
I took him down cool as a cucumber, but I mean, he's honest about his struggles. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. So, Luke, you mentioned that he gets that Beskar, right? And we see the other Mandalorians a little more in the light, I guess. You can actually see them a little more, make them out who they are a little more. So what about that reaction that we get that I think they're calling him a super something Mandalorian. I don't know. I saw the Black series released for him, which is going to be like an Amazon exclusive or something. They're calling him something or other, super something Mando. But what was going on there?
Yeah, it's really great to see the confrontation that he has with our main Mandalorian down there, because then, at the end of the episode, when the rest of the Mandalorians come to his rescue, he's the one who kind of seems to be leading the way and like saying, we've got your back here. And so that he kind of comes around, to supporting our main Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal. And it's just fascinating to see how that cultural background of this Mandalorian group is going to develop. They made a big deal of talking about how, you never take off your helmet again.
Yeah.
And this whole thing about they only ever send one out. So I guess, like, is he the only one who has leave to, like,
right?
go elsewhere, outside of the layer right now, and these guys are all just cooped up there. So,
Well, and it's only been 3 episodes, right? And not a whole lot of time has passed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess a couple of days since they were camping out and stuff. But,
You know what I thought?
Yeah.
I thought, because Luke, I agree with you where it seems like I don't think that he's like from Mandalore.
Ooh, okay.
And I think that you're right, part of the reason why there's so much tension. But B, he's the only one that we've seen go in and pick up all these bounties. Like you said, we haven't seen any of the others go in there. And I also kind of feel like that's another reason why there's more tension. Like either he is just a better bounty hunter or able to track these down more. And I think that him not being from Mandalore and also getting all these bounties and like bringing them in and getting all the like.
But what if being a bounty hunter, because we know Django, Boba, this guy, whatever his name is, you almost tend to look at the Mandalorians and be like, bounty hunters. Like, at least the lay person might. And maybe it's just not considered an honorable thing.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I'm saying? That's like, he's the youngest of the able whatever. That's what your duty is. Like, you're going to go out and you're going to make money for us or whatever, and we're going to handle other pressing matters. Luke, is he either like the go-to guy, like he'll get the job done, or is this kind of you're on this duty, it's not really, something that we regard highly?
Yeah, I think you're right about the assumption is that if these other dudes were leaving the layer, they would be doing the same thing. But who knows? It's hard to imagine them doing. They have to be doing something sort of militarily focused, or taking advantage of these combat skills, and that connects to way back in the Clone Wars with the Satine taking the culture kind of a different way of wanting to diverge from that. Like, we're only warriors. This is our only skill. Yeah. Like, are we Spartans or Athenians of ancient Greece? Like,
yeah.
And so, what else could they do? They seem to be much more of the we are warriors and that's all we can do types. Yeah. So it's hard to imagine what else the other guys would be doing if they left. And maybe there was no reason for them to leave because some of them didn't want to be bounty hunters. And that's why they're just chilling in the cave while he's going off, because he's willing to actually do something, and it brings in resources for the group.
Well, maybe it's strategic too. Think about it. Like, they probably don't want anyone to know how many there are. And they talk about it being like a secret layer. But we've seen the Mando walk in. It's just like a spiral staircase. And like, this is your security? Like, people have to be stumbling in here all the time.
And he's very like obvious, like going in his armor, just like walking in and
it's
walking out.
It's not like no one kind of checks around, anybody looking, okay, dart in. It's just like they just kind of walk in. But but maybe it's strategic, and they don't want people to know there's 20 of us here that are hiding out. We don't want you to know our numbers. You look at us all the same. We got this, Mandalorian looking helmet, and you wouldn't recognize us, from Adam.
Well, that changes.
But it definitely does. Yeah.
Real quick, the Black Series are calling him a heavy infantry Mandalorian.
That's right.
And that Mandalorian's name is Pas Vizsla, and he's actually voiced by Jon Favreau.
Yeah,
that's the one. Yep.
I was going to mention that too. When I was watching the episode, I was like, oh, is that Favreau? It sounds like a bit like Favreau. Yeah. And then I've heard, other people. I don't know if anyone's officially confirmed it, but a lot of speculation online and stuff that, that's Favreau's voice there. Plus the name, because that's the same last name as the character he voiced in Rebels pre-Vizsla, so our Clone Wars.
That makes a lot of sense. So he would be a direct descendant then. I mean, right? We're kind of the same house at least, which is cool.
House, clan, whatever they call those. Yeah.
So it seems like Jon Favreau is a pretty big Mando fan. We know Dave Filoni is. I mean, huge Mando fan. Do we think we're going to get Dave Filoni in the armor at some point? I mean,
that would be cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be a good guest appearance. Yeah, right? I think he voiced some characters in the Clone Wars, but usually just really ancillary, like almost extra type characters. And I don't think he ever really, that I can think of, did like main characters. So that would be really cool to get him involved on that end. But I don't know if he'd be up for it or not.
Yeah, he's a pretty I don't know. He doesn't like a lot of attention.
Yeah,
on
he's
himself.
not really in the spotlight.
Doesn't seem like that would even be something. He just wants to get that story out, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I freaking love him for it. We see that altercation, him and the heavy infantry mando. Is that what we're calling him? Which he had the sweet. We'll talk about it later. Sweet, like, repeating blaster. So they have a little altercation, and I don't know kind of what stops them, but we still see that the blacksmith. I don't know what else to call her. Is she the leader of this group? It seems like she is, right?
She has like
that presence. It's just listen up. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's also though I don't know, some leniency with interacting with each other. There doesn't seem, there may be some hierarchy, but it's not so established that, they shut up whenever, she's talking, or I don't know. It's just interesting. It's just kind of a hodgepodge right now. So anything else about that underground scene that we're missing? Because I did totally jump over it. It was a huge scene. He gets the whole suit of armor, right? I mean, maybe a couple of spots he's missing, but...
And we see more of his backstory.
Yeah.
Presumably that's him as a child.
Yeah, and I like that. I don't know. It felt very repetitive, though. The clashing of the armor, and it's doing the same flashback. I was kind of hoping that other triggers would happen, but it's something about that armor that's really, whether it's just the heritage or something, it's really taking him back into those moments. But I was kind of hoping he'd get flashbacks at other times. But I mean,
that's a great point, Mike, because it didn't really advance the history of the character that we've seen. It gave us like some longer shots, I think, than we got the first time around. But yeah, not really new information. And so I guess they wanted to just keep that memory in our minds as viewers. Yeah. And we are going to definitely get more of it throughout the season. They just weren't ready to give it to us yet, but they wanted to, like, hey, remember this whole backstory is out there. Just to keep it in our minds as viewers, and then we'll get more of a reveal later, I guess.
Because we didn't get any in chapter 2.
No.
Right.
No flashbacks, yeah. So maybe every other episode we get a little more. But I'll tell you, at the end of chapter 2, I was like, we're in a ship. We're going to space. Different planet. Super pumped. Where are we going? And they come right back to the same planet. Same planet. Same little, whatever you want to call it, outpost, whatever it is. Same kind of scenes. I was like, that's kind of a bummer.
But we're going somewhere new next.
I think.
I mean, they said he said that.
We're in space. Yeah.
They have to change where their lair is now, because clearly when 70 Mandalorians come out with their jetpacks, they give their location away.
Spoiler alert. No, I'm kidding.
The whole thing's a spoiler.
Yeah. I mean,
one of the biggest juxtapositions from chapter 2 to chapter 3 is just like the feel in the this third chapter was so like serious and action. Yeah. And I might not have had as much fun with it, but it was great to like it advanced the story a lot more, but it didn't have like really 1 minute of the comedic elements that that chapter 2 had, which I enjoyed so much. Outside of, I guess you could look at the whole metal ball, top of the lever, that's not a toy thing, is like slightly comedic, like more of like emotional like connection to Baby Yoda. They're just so it's just such a different feel, serious and the action
and the music. Yeah, there wasn't as much of the music that we had talked about, and there was a lot more conversation.
Yeah, there was. I mean, still not a whole lot of, it's really only Carl Weathers that we've seen's mouth move still, which once again, so I'm 3 chapters in. I can barely understand what's going on because I'm a lip reader if you missed the last few episodes.
I totally feel you in the scene in the Mando lair. Right? Like I had to rewatch that and turn the closed captioning on to catch everything.
It's just like make it even more unreasonable. It's dark, and I'm like, I can't read their lips, but I'm like, it's dark. Like even if I could, I wouldn't be able to see them.
It's not just the lips, but there's some like distortion of their voice coming through their helmets as well. So
you're absolutely right. And another thing too, when he leaves the Imperial Remnant lair at first, You also see I can never remember what salacious crumb species is.
Kowakian monkey lizard.
Kowakian monkey lizard. Not like the same scene, him being roasted, and I don't know if that's to show us like, hey, not much time has passed, that thing is still cooking.
He's still over the spit.
You really got to slow roast them, like the frog legs. You braise it, get really nice
72
tender.
hours, let that thing slow cook
I think
over
Luke
smoker.
doesn't need a recipe now. He just decided how he's gonna cook his frog.
I mean,
you just cook it like a monkey lizard. It's the same process.
There's some things that actually look like a cooked monkey lizard at the Chinese buffet, and so we'll see some of that there when we go.
Well, there
here
go
to
all
find
of our
those.
Chinese listeners now.
No, there's nothing against. I'm a huge patron of Chinese restaurants. I love it. But you're not a big, meat eater, so it's just like, well, I guess you're getting the broccoli and the rice. But I'll go in there and they got the meat on a stick. They got the chicken. They got everything.
The meat on the stick.
That's what
teriyaki.
Is it? I don't know. It's meat on a stick, but it reminds me of the monkey lizard.
Michael's eating salacious bee crumb.
We'll vlog it when we go, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, as long as they'll let us film in there. But like, it's just there was some repetition there that I find myself just. But it was all. I mean, all of this episode was to really dig in that knife a little more at your heart about Baby Yoda and that relation. That's like you already love him, and you already know there's a connection, but we're going to hit you 3 times in this episode where it's really tugging at those heartstrings. We're going to dig that knife in more. But he gets Baby Yoda. He's on his way out. Encounters some more Imperials. I mean, fighting with a baby in your hand. I mean, thank God he's got all those utensils, the flamethrower and the fork. I'm just kidding. The fork isn't one of them.
Some
but
chopsticks.
It might have come in. Oh, I wish I knew which my sound clips had the hi-hat. But so he's going out of there. We see his new what did you guys say it was? The bird
the
whistling birds.
The whistling birds, that new weapon he has. He's surrounded by stormtroopers. He fires that thing off. It's got like 4 rockets on it that kill them all, which was awesome. But then when he's on his way, he sees his ship going down the road in the market, and he gets surrounded. And what was cool, this was one of my most favorite parts about the whole episode. So that bounty is back on. So all those fobs that we knew were out there, when Carl Weathers, he went and talked to Carl Weathers when he was collecting his bounty, and he said, so how many other fobs did you give out? And he just turns, he says, everyone here. Everyone had one. And you're like, wow. And then when he gets Baby Yoda, everyone pulls out their fobs and they're going back off. And you're like, this is bad.
So who put the bounty back on?
I think I don't know. I guess it just.
I don't know how it knows the difference between like that.
Maybe there's like a
personally,
perimeter. It has to get in this area, or.
I thought that he was going to go back to get to get Baby Yoda, and then he wasn't going to be there because I thought that they would have immediately moved him somewhere else.
You're right. Now,
but I don't know how it knows the difference between like the Empire or whoever transporting him versus.
Well, I mean, it could be that the whoever's leading this remnant here in the cell, we didn't see him killed at all, did we? So maybe he re-energized the bounty or whatever. Something triggered it, but it was
Werner Herzog's character is still out there because we saw him. Well, we didn't really see him that well in the episode, but when the Mandalorian's kind of using his scope to look into the building with the infrared images, there's the Doctor and Werner Herzog's character having a conversation that he can listen in on, and he hears them talking. So we know right before the Mandalorian goes in there, Werner Herzog's character is there, but then we don't see him at all once he's in there. So maybe he kind of slipped out and knew that Mandalorian had come and reclaimed Baby Yoda, and that kind of reactivated the bounty, and that's when all the fobs started going off.
Mm-hmm.
There's an interesting thing that he said there in that moment when you see the infrared or whatever of their scope, and he's listening in. He says, "I can't guarantee your safety." He tells that to the Doctor, which makes you think that it's not just whatever guild the Mando's a part of, because if you recall, IG-11 got different instructions. It was to execute. So the Imperials, they wanted him for research or whatever it is they're doing. They wanted him alive. So someone else just wants him dead. The Transdoshans seem to just want it dead. So something else is seeking this, some other guild, some other enemy, whatever it is. I don't think it's just the Mandos guild that was on this one. So I think that's why he said, I can't guarantee your safety, because all those other guys were standing down at that point. Their fobs were done. I think others were like, we're still on this.
Okay, so I have another question.
Come on.
I don't know why I'm like stuck on this doctor, because I cannot think of another actual doctor that's been in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm like super interested because so at first I thought like, oh, here we go, like evil scientist doctor meets the galaxy.
Yep.
Like, okay, he's hired by the Empire, like he's working for them. But then like I started to think that he like was not necessarily a willing participant.
Could be.
And that he just thought, this is a situation that I'm in. I'm going to try to do what I think is right while not getting myself killed. I don't know, because when he kept like when our Mandalorian went in and the doctor was like he would be dead if it wasn't for me, like don't hurt him, he's just a baby.
You're right. He was protecting them, and he may not be so willing to do whatever's being done, but he is interested in the science. You could tell he was when the Imperial leader, I can't remember his character's name again, but he says, dead or alive or whatever, and the doctor steps in and says, no, alive. We need him alive. Yeah. He's interested in the science, and I'm sure there's another directive that he's trying to fulfill here with whoever the main boss is, or whoever's interested in this. So it seems like that leader there was just there to get the job done and move on. But I totally get what you're saying. He's hesitant. He's protective. It's a living thing, and he wants to protect it. It's not able to protect
and
itself.
Like I didn't like him, but I also didn't not like him.
Yeah, you felt a little bad for him.
I kind of did, and that's the thing is that like the Mandalorian was like so ready to like kill everyone who stood in between him and the baby, but then he gets in there and he doesn't kill the doctor, even though the doctor was the one who right then had that child and was holding on to him. Yeah. I thought that was really interesting that he didn't kill him when he could have.
Well, maybe he's feeling a little guilty after all those Jawas. Because, here's the thing. Baby Yoda sitting there staring at him, right, with his big eyes. And he's like, I remember those 6 Jawas you slaughtered or dissipated, whatever he did, vaporized them. He's like, let this one go. I kind of thought for a second that Baby Yoda was going to interfere and he was going to stop him. But
didn't happen.
Hasn't happened yet. But I think it's going to. So we kind of skip back and forth there. But, yeah, he's in the alley surrounded, and I'm like, what other tricks does he have up his sleeve? Literally, what it is. Great. I mean, if I could figure out this soundboard, you'd be getting all the hi-hat, the snare and hi-hat.
Very funny, yes.
You are very funny tonight. This is fantastic. We need a Holly's Corner where you just do your stand-up routine.
I mean, yeah.
We'll make a special for that. That's going to be on Patreon for sure. So you think what else he got up his sleeve? What other utilities he got on that belt or whatever? He's like Batman, and he goes just shooting. He's like, I'm gonna get out of here shooting, and he hides in this I don't even know what you call it. It's a hover trailer. It's some I don't know whatever it is that's being run by an astromech droid.
Which is hilarious because if you guys remember in the first episode, he was like, "No droids."
You audibly laughed and yelled, "No droids!" Yeah.
I thought that was like the funniest thing.
And it was. That thing takes off. He's shooting or whatever, and Carl Weathers' character does the smart thing and blows the astromech to hell.
Yeah.
I don't know why no one did that earlier, but he did. And so, also, can we just talk about Carl Weathers? Not the character I thought he was going to be.
Did you think you were going to like him?
I thought he's going to be a good guy.
There's still time.
But it's not looking good.
Are you saying like before the show launched, just in the kind of promo stuff that you thought?
Yep.
Okay. I think once he's the sort of kingpin of a bounty hunter guild, you probably think this guy's probably a bit shady at that point. Huh?
That's true. Yeah, it's just I was a little surprised, and so he's surrounded. He's all out of tricks. He doesn't have many options, and I don't know. He's hovering over Baby Yoda, it looks like he's trying to protect him, but it also looks like he's trying to wake him up. Like, what else can this thing do? Can it get us out of this situation again? And just when you think he's going to, backup arrives, which I audibly like this. And this is what's great. This is I'm loving Mandalorians more than I ever have, and I'm being drug into this culture, and I'm loving it. And when they showed up, I just yelled, "Let's freaking go!" Like, it was just amazing. It was so sick because I knew we were going to see jetpacks, and it was just like Rebels. It was just like Rebels. It was so well done. It was perfect because you can tell that they wanted it to be a night scene, so it didn't feel too. I mean, you got guys flying on jetpacks, and it's television. I know they got a big budget, but you still are going to feel like it's a little. They really wanted to emphasize those
the flame,
and the visual aspect of them flying around and shooting blasters in the dark. It was perfectly executed. And then we got the super infantry Mando just laying it on people down below, and he says something to the Mandalorian. Does anyone remember what he says?
No.
He just says, "How is he like? Get
Something
out of
about,
here. We got this covered or whatever."
Yeah. But
This is the way.
This is the way.
Because they had said that earlier.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead. Yep.
That's the comment that the armorer said that stopped everybody from fighting. That's like they're like, this is not the important thing.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that's. I thought that was such a huge moment because I know you guys were talking about, like,
the tension.
Well, where's the Mandalorian? Like, is he an actual Mandalorian, or is he this or is he that? This moment for me solidified that he is one of the foundlings, that he actually is an original Mandalorian that just didn't have that upbringing that all the others did, and they are protecting him. I don't think this is just hey, you're a fellow Mandalorian. I think it's this guy matters because he's one of our original foundlings, and he is to grow this clan. And so it just felt like everyone knew what he was doing was important, and they needed to back him up. Because I mean, I when they were fighting, you could kind of see that now maybe if something happened, they wouldn't really care. But this guy matters, and he said, "This is the way." And he took off in his ship and confronted Carl Weathers for one last time. And
if we can pause before the final confrontation with Carl Weathers, I think this is such a great episode because there's a lot of layers to what's going on, and some of the stuff that you've been saying sparked some thoughts for me. Yeah, I really love the part where it was clear he was hoping for Baby Yoda to rouse himself and pull off another Mudhorn miracle. Like, hey, remember how you helped me out with that? We need that again. And then, that was a little bit of a misdirection before the rest of the clan shows up. Yeah. I thought that was great the way they pulled that off. But it also kind of might, question his motives here a little bit. We're feeling like, oh, he loves Baby Yoda and he cares for him and he wants to rescue him. But it could just be he sees him as a valuable tool. I'm in danger, and what he did to save me from the Mudhorn, what if he can do that anytime I'm in danger? So it might not be as altruistic as we'd like to think it is. And the same goes for, I think, the Dr. Pershing. I could see it. He says, "Oh, don't hurt him." Maybe he just thinks the science will be easier and or better that he wants to, study if the subject is still alive, and it might not be any real care for Baby Yoda, but he knows that the best way to study him is for it to still be alive, so he wants to do that. And if keeping him alive, he tells people like, "Oh, think about him, he's just a baby," as a way of like getting them not to harm him. That might be the case. So it might not all be what it looks like on the surface every time.
That's a fantastic point. Holly, did you have that moment too where I didn't pick up on it as much, but now that Luke's talking about it, when he's trying to wake this thing up, like we see very sentimental moments, but there's still
you don't know
back and forth.
Is the Mandalorian going to try to weaponize the green bean?
What a twist. We will dominate this galaxy together as father and son. And they'll have a little formal adoption, and it'll be adorable. Right.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world.
Or maybe not. I don't know.
Well, Vader thought it would be a perfect world. Look how that turned out.
Not good.
Not good.
Spoiler.
Spoilers for episode 6. The return. Full circles coming back. So that's fantastic, Luke. I just kind of thought like, oh yeah, like he could totally help him out here, but like the fact that like it wasn't, I mean, the Mandalorian didn't pull out his blasters and keep shooting. He was just like you could do this. Like, wake up, come on, I've seen you do cool things. Like he still is just, not fully there yet, it seems, but. And so we get to the ship. We have the Carl Weathers encounter for the last time. But he's not dead. Carl Weathers is shot and not dead.
Was it the last time?
Not the last time. So we see finally the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, a.k.a. Green Bean, a.k.a. Escargot, in the ship. And I don't know if Baby Yoda gets out of his crib or whatever.
His crib.
Where does he have him in? Because we saw the egg was in the trash.
Also, yeah,
What's he sitting in?
We skimmed right over that too.
Oh yeah. What are you gonna do? I watched it Friday once. I didn't get to watch it a second time.
You're remembering a lot more than I did.
Well, that's not likely, and it doesn't happen often. So remember you said that. But. Yeah, so we don't have the egg. I don't even remember what it's in. Luke, do you remember what he's in anymore? Is it just sitting in the co-pilot seat?
Must be chilling in the seat next to him there.
And I think he hops down,
he's lost
right?
His bassinet.
Yeah.
His bassinet.
And this is when now he's going to be riding on the Mando's shoulder. Right? We've gotten rid of that egg crate thing, and now it's going to be riding on his back.
He needs to get
just
one of
like
those baby
Luke
wraps.
Skywalker.
It has to happen. He needs to carry him.
That's a lot. That's a lot to be carrying around. I think he's just going to have him on his shoulder or his back, which would be so sick. So when they start releasing Baby Yoda toys, I'm getting one.
And you're
he's
strapping
gonna be
it to your
riding on
body.
my shoulder. Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely. And so the final scene, we come back to that lever, right? The ball's back on the thing. Baby Yoda's in the one of the seats in the back. And I think Baby Yoda gets down or whatever. I think. Unscrews the ball, hands it to him. Just like a father would.
Well, as a dad, I would normally say it's a bit of a choking hazard.
Yeah, you probably don't want that.
We've seen him eat a whole frog, so he could probably handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that lever ball there might be a little harder coming out. Phrasing.
Whoa.
Wow, this is becoming really graphic.
After dark.
If we haven't been kicked off the air yet, well, it'll happen soon. So that was 3 times they came back to that lever, and to me that really solidified like this is gonna be quite a ride with these two, and there's gonna be a lot of feelings. Baby Yoda's just taken the world by storm in the Star Wars universe. It just absolutely has. Bringing everyone together. But, I mean, that was a solid episode. I want to ask you guys, Holly, it was called The Sin.
What was the sin?
That's what I'm asking.
I was going to ask you guys the same question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Luke said, this episode had a lot of different layers to it.
Yep.
So, like, on the surface level, you could be like, I mean.
It's like a 7-layer burrito.
The sin is him, like, turning in the bounty and then turning back around and taking it back.
Yeah.
I think like at the surface level that is the sin. But then there's a lot of other little things that happen in there, and
there's a lot of sins.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
There's a lot of sins. Luke, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Holly's right on there. The sin within the story, I think, mostly talks about it breaking the bounty hunter code.
Yep.
There's multiple times where when he takes Baby Yoda in first, and Werner Herzog says to him, he starts asking like, "Oh, so what are you gonna do now?" Werner Herzog tells him like, "This isn't part of what a bounty hunter does. You're not supposed to ask this question. You're supposed to forget this happened as soon as you leave here." And then when he starts asking questions to Carl Weathers says the same thing. "Hey, forget about it. Go see the Twi'lek bathhouse or whatever, the Twi'lek
Great
massage
reference.
parlor.
Great reference.
Don't worry about it." And so I think that's the sort of in-story meaning of the sin is breaking the code. I think from a viewer, like as viewers and are fawning over Baby Yoda, is the sin is momentarily abandoning him and letting him be subject to whatever they do to him, and like that makes us angry at the Mandalorian from a viewer standpoint.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
I mean, also, like, if you want to dig into it deeper, I mean, it could be, like, I don't know, telling us that, like, later in the episode, like Luke said, maybe the sin is him wanting this for an ulterior motive. Like, he wants to hold on to Baby Yoda to use him to his advantage.
It could be.
It's like a sin that is also going to be a sin in the future.
Or was it the slaughtering of the Jawas?
No.
Anybody?
Was that sinful?
So here's the thing. Luke said, not our Luke Skywalker in episode 4. Well, who would want to slay Jawas?
The Mandalorian.
I think it's the best meme that I've seen out there. I know there's a lot of great Baby Yoda memes. One of the best memes I saw was them showing the Jawas and the Sandcrawler and Obi-Wan and Luke and all the dead Jawas. And who would want to slay Jawas?
I haven't seen that meme.
And then under it has the picture of the Mandalorian. Just said stares at the Mandalorian. I about lost my crap.
That's
because
funny.
it's just it was so good. It was so good. But that's to me, that was the original sin. There's a lot of sinning going on in this show. Okay,
they didn't care that many of their friends were disintegrated once they got the Suka, though. I mean,
they quickly forgot, didn't they? I mean, there's a lot of them, and they just tend to forget. I mean, they
were in the denial stage of that grieving process.
Well, and now I hope that the egg comes up again in Star Wars somewhere else. You know, I hope we just, in the in the back scene, just Jawas eating yolk out of it. I think it's going to be a thing. It's going to be one of those things that now is a part of Star Wars lore, and you're going to see it. It's going to be in books or whatever, like so-and-so walked past the Jawas, and there they were, spoonfuls of yolk. It's going to become a thing. It's going to become a thing. So I think the original sin for me was the Jawas, and I think, they're just acknowledging how terrible it was. But, no, I think you guys are right. I think it's so many layers.
Yeah.
And you want to just jump to the, him giving up or him giving up the baby. But, I mean, so much more to it than that from different perspectives, from a certain point of view. And that's what's fantastic.
From a certain point of view.
So that's, 3 episodes down, still haven't met any of our other heroes. That hasn't happened. So we're still, our little group here. So we got 5 more episodes to go.
Yeah.
You know what else we also have upcoming is The Rise of Skywalker, and some TV spots that we're going to talk about, not tonight, but next week. Some really good stuff there, some stuff to dissect, but really wanted to give, The Mandalorian its time because there's so much there, especially with this episode. It's just, like Luke said, there are not as many funny moments, but this show is a roller coaster of joy and sadness and just so much sentiment. It's a great, and like I said, it's been so confined to this one area and this one little lick of time with these few characters, and it's already got us all taken by storm, which is fantastic. So way to go, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Such a great production.
Yeah.
Such a great production. Anything else, guys? Yeah.
Should just mention that the director for this episode is the woman who is leading the Obi-Wan series. I think directing all of that.
Absolutely.
So
Deborah Chow.
that's kind of Deborah Chow. So
the first female director of a Star Wars, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're
Go
right about
her.
that.
That is awesome.
That is a
She's
huge
directed
feat.
some other really cool things too, so did not disappoint.
No,
Yeah, so it's just kind of interesting to see like our first taste of maybe the feel that she'll bring to that Obi-Wan series. I'd say so far so good. So that's pretty good.
Absolutely, they're gonna start filming that thing soon, and I'm sure we'll get a teaser or some clip at Celebration in August. It's gonna be fantastic. Cannot wait. A lot to look forward to until that time, but really excited for that. So. Anything else, guys? That was a great discussion. We're about an hour and 20 minutes right now. All tapped out?
Yeah, I think we covered everything that I
Yeah.
had been thinking about this week.
Absolutely. Some good housekeeping, some good Mandalorian discussion.
Yeah, there's also a lot of really good discussion going on in the group right now. Lots
Yeah.
of comments about
Oh.
like, is Baby Yoda going to be a foundling? Is he going to get a helmet? Does the helmet? Is he not? So if you are not in the group,
Get outta
get
here.
to the group.
Get
Wade will
outta
accept
here.
you like 2 seconds after you put your request in.
A tiny little Baby Yoda helmet. Get out of here.
That
That would be the cutest. That would break television. It would break television.
Maybe that's going to be like the last episode of this season.
God, if the toy Baby Yoda doesn't come with
Oh my
a
god!
separate little helmet to put on, I would
And
be
his little
pissed.
do his little ears stick out of the helmet?
Sticks out of the helmet.
Stop,
Absolutely.
Hasbro. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen. That group is killing it.
Seriously,
Come on.
get in there, check it out because I was reading some of
Jeez
those comments and they
Pete.
were just great.
He becomes the foundling of something bigger, something more. A new order. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see him in Mando armor. Luke, would you pay to see him in Mando armor?
I'm loving the image that it's conjured in my head right now. Him running around, so I might have to.
Right? There's.
I would like the concept art of that, please.
That's what I'm saying. We got a lot. I know we got artists in the group, so mock something up and send it to Disney. That would be so sick. I can only imagine him. You know, he kind of waddles.
gosh.
He comes out in this Beskar, and he
Puts
just
his little hand
weighting him
out.
down. Yeah, like it just the helmet like falls off his head. It's like too big or something. You could make
Oh
this
my
as cute as
God.
I'll get out. Well, my heart is shattered. Whoever came up with that in the group, what a great idea! You should pitch that to
I think it was Martin.
Lucasfilm. Fantastic, Martin. He should be writing Star Wars.
Please.
Well, yeah. So that does it, guys, for episode 11. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have some other French theories out there that you'd like to submit those, you can hit us up at flyingcasualcast@gmail.com. Send us an email.
Send Luke your favorite frog recipe.
Yeah, some nice frog leg recipes. Send us a recipe about the escargot that Holly is
It's
gonna
okay.
have to eat.
I wouldn't be upset if you didn't.
A nice garlic sauce with it. Maybe like a tomato sauce, something. I don't know. We're gonna investigate. Maybe there's a Star Wars theme escargot out there. It's like Jabba's pasta or something like that.
We're gonna make that an escargot.
Oh.
Perfect for a Walho.
Oh my god.
Osa, bisa, escargosa. Nailed it. That's what you sound like.
Yes, thank you. I
You're
got
welcome.
that.
You're welcome. So yeah, send us those. Send us recipes. Send us everything you can. And we're absolutely going to have that poll up here soon. Also, get in that Facebook group. You've already heard it here. We've thrown out some of the cool stuff going on in the Facebook group. It's growing. I love it. And there's new people going in, new people asking questions, new people theorizing. Everyone's just making everyone feel accepted,
Yep.
and it's just a lot of good energy going on there. It's fantastic. And hey, don't forget, we're also on Instagram. Holly has fantastic stories she's putting out there. And don't forget, Mike is persistently posting on Twitter. Still don't know how to use it, but go ahead, like us there on Twitter. Is it a like or is it a follow?
It's a
or
follow.
It's a follow on Twitter. So tweet at us, tweet us,
Nope.
follow us.
Yep.
Join the
group.
the herd, or whatever big flocks of birds are called.
Gaggle.
Join us.
Get a gaggle.
A gaggle of casual fams.
Fam.
Fams.
Hey, fam.
Oh, just
gaggle of us.
divulging into craziness.
The other thing that you can do is you can leave a voicemail with all your
Please.
reasons why I shouldn't eat escargot.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and veto those, but we'll accept those that say why we should. And you can send those to 614-398-2119. Send us your theories. Guys, it's coming down to the final hours here for Rise of Skywalker. You're going to need to get those predictions in. And expect here soon we're going to be doing some live shows again. I'm going to have Luke on this time. And spread some of that knowledge, spread some of that responsibility, because I don't know how much longer Holly can run a live chat and a conversation with me. I feel like we tapped her out that time. We start talking about Fallen Order, but actually that's a great discussion. We got a huge Fallen Order discussion we need to have. Holly's probably around 30% of the game. I'm still around
Mm-hmm.
20 something. So she's kind of blowing me out of the water there, but we'll have some good discussion about that. So expect a live stream soon. Mando, Fallen Order, whatever you want to talk about, we'll be doing that soon. So guys, I think that does it. It's been a pleasure. Holly, love having you here. Luke, thanks for joining us, my brother. That's another episode 11. We'll see you next week. Keep flying casual.